Silindelo Masikane, who is on the ground and joins us live now for the very latest. Unfortunately, we haven't had the latest visuals, Slee, and you are bringing those to us live as we see them on our television screen. I hope that you are safe, but just based on your initial queries and investigations as a journalist, what have you uncovered in terms of the extent of the damage that has occurred as a result of this explosion?
Well, I think from what you can see in front of you, Rafira, is that there has been a tragedy that has just occurred here in Boksburg, an explosion. From what we understand, we literally just got here moments ago with my colleague Nokumalaji, and as you can see from the visuals in front of you, it does seem as though the situation has been brought somewhat under control. The area has been barricaded with police tape, and we were a little bit closer when we arrived, but emergency services have asked us to move back. At this point, there are still several dead bodies that are still at the scene. We just saw firefighters, in fact, and the fire truck leaving that area just that you see in front of you, where there's been most of the damage, where that explosion actually happened. And you can see that at this point there is a caucus that I'm seeing to my right as well of emergency services. At this point there is no one on the scene who can speak to us, but I do understand that you have been speaking to William Ndladi from Egubleni Emergency Services, and from what I could get at the tail end of that interview, we understand that at this point 8 people have been confirmed dead. Behind me we do have ambulances that keep arriving. It does seem as though that those who have been injured for the most part have been removed from the scene. The videos that have been circulating on social media do show that many of those who suffered injuries here or who were formed part of this explosion have suffered some serious injuries, some third-degree wounds. Some pictures that have been circulating also show that some people may have lost some of their limbs. And so it's Christmas Eve, and I think at this point many families here in Boksburg are going to be spending a very sad Christmas, trying to just make sense of what has happened here. Even those who are actually arriving at the scene, many of them are also just trying to understand what has happened. So at this point we are still trying to locate perhaps some eyewitnesses who may be able to speak to us in terms of perhaps what they saw, what they heard from the situation. Good day, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. Are you a resident? Did you just arrive?
No, I was one of the first responders on the scene.
Can you just give me a sense as to what happened here? What did you see when you first arrived, and what time was this?
That was about 8:30, 11:15. We saw a photo of a truck burning, and then the people rushed towards the scene, and that's when the truck exploded, and that caused havoc.
So the truck was on fire, and then people ran towards it?
Yes, the truck was on fire. The fire brigade was busy cooling it off, gas vehicle. It tried to go through under the bridge. It hit the bridge, and then the people ran towards the fire, and then the truck exploded, and that caused havoc. Fatalities, injuries, it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense as to how many people have been taken to hospital so far?
There's about 14 to 17 people taken to hospital, and about, say, 6 or 7 fatalities.
Can you tell me or describe some of the injuries?
It's bad. It's bad. I would rather not.
Yeah.
But it's going to be too graphic. People burned to cinders, skin peeling off. People being cut in half, lost limbs, but it's bad.
Do you have an idea as to how the truck ended up trying? Was it trying to go under the bridge?
It tried to go underneath the bridge, and the clearance wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he hit the bridge at the speed, and then
it got trapped.
It sparked, and that's what started the fire. And then the fire, emergency services came to try and put out the fire, and then
I imagine the truck driver forms part of the fatalities?
No, at least when the truck started catching fire, the fire brigade was on the scene. They removed him from the vehicle. There were 2 other vehicles also involved on the other side of the bridge, but they got them out trying to cool down the truck. And then the fireman that was cooling down the truck, they also got injured. The truck was actually blown back about 50, 70 meters from the actual explosion.
This is something that could have been prevented, do you think?
Yes. If the driver had like a proper license and he knew his clearance, because there's a clearance side and you come from that side, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Sir, how are you?
Oh, I've already given that other gentleman.
Can you maybe describe what you saw? Were you here when the explosion happened?
Yes. Because I'm a resident here. Actually, what happened here, it was very bad.
Yeah.
Very bad. A big explosion which took place. But the cause of the explosion, it was a truck which was trapped under the bridge. The driver actually didn't check the height restriction. So the truck got trapped there, and it's a gas tank, a gas truck, a tanker. Due to the trap, I think the bottles get damaged somewhere, and the gas started to leak. It took about almost, for the first explosion, it was about maybe 15 minutes somewhere. 15 to 20 minutes first explosion when the truck started to catch fire. The second explosion is the one actual which made all the damage because there was like too much gas in the air and there was flames all over in the sky, and most standby watchers they were thrown away from about 200 meters away, thrown with the force of the explosion, and that actually caused most people to get those serious injuries, and about eight people were confirmed died right on the scene. Some those injured, they were like rushed to the hospital.
Do you know if any homes were destroyed?
Yes. Some of the homes closed. Were damaged, windows fall, some houses they cracked actually. Even mine. Cracked.
So your house is also nearby?
Right up, it's about 600 meters away from the bridge. My house is about 600 meters from the bridge, but it even sustained some cracks inside due to the explosion. That force, there was a big force of explosion.
So do you know if you'll be allowed back into your home at this point, or are you waiting for clearance?
Pardon?
Do you know if you'll be allowed back into your home, or have you been asked to stay out?
It's a little bit safe. It's not right close to the place of scene. It's some distance away from the scene. So us, the family is still in the house.
Do you know any of those who've been injured or who have passed away, unfortunately?
Actually, it's only that there's one gentleman whom I was trying to help who is injured, and I did ask his name. He's a Zimbabwean guy. His name is Laxon. The surname I can't remember, but I still have got his car keys, because he asked me to take his car to his place, because he stays right close to the place of incident.
How are you feeling at this point about what has happened?
Very bad. Very bad. The incident is not good at all, because most people, all those bent people, it's almost, to me, it was looking as if it's like first people, all the skin was peeled off from the incident. It was right straight away.
Jeez, Rafio, you can hear some of the graphic details coming out of what has happened. We are being moved further away from the scene, and this gentleman right here, one of the first responders as well, telling us, describing what has happened. We know there's structural damage to a number of homes, 8 confirmed dead, several who have been injured and rushed to hospital. And this gentleman saying that he is aware that one of those injured, he does know who they are, but at this point also describing very graphic scenes here in Boksburg.
Very difficult to hold back one's emotions when we hear accounts of this nature, some gruesome details that have been shared with you this morning, Slee. And obviously you're going to stay on the ground and keep us abreast of those developments. And I'm hoping that you'll get an opportunity to go to the Tambo Memorial Hospital. It has also been damaged quite extensively and unfortunately is unable to help patients at the moment. So hopefully you'll give us an update on that one as well. That is a senior reporter, Silindelo Masikane, on the scene of that brutal explosion in Boksburg that has led to 8 confirmed deaths and various injuries. Some gruesome details being given to us in terms of the injuries there.